Hi, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're breaking down two concepts that honestly make our financial world go round: credit and security. Now, these aren't just stuffy legal terms. They are the invisible gears behind everything from starting a small business to buying a house.
Okay, so let's get right into it. And to really get a grip on this, we're going to follow the story of an entrepreneur named Alex. Alex has a dream to open a cool little coffee shop, and his journey is going to make all of this make perfect sense.
So Alex has an awesome business plan. He's got a real passion for coffee, but he's missing the one thing every new business needs: cash. He needs money for rent, for all that fancy equipment, and of course, for the coffee beans. And this is where his adventure really begins. So credit, at the end of the day, is just getting stuff now and promising to pay for it later. Simple, right? And it usually comes in two main flavors. You've got loan credit. That's Alex needing cold, hard cash from the bank to pay his landlord. And then there's vendor credit. That's like him telling his bean supplier, hey, can I pay you for this first shipment in, say, 60 days?
So the bank looks at Alex's plan, and they like it. They see the potential. But let's be real. Lending money is always a gamble. What if the cafe struggles? They need some kind of safety net, a plan B, just in case Alex can't pay them back. What they need is security. So here's the bottom line. Security is basically a claim over something valuable that Alex owns. It's the bank's insurance policy. If Alex defaults, the bank has a legal right to take that asset and sell it to get their money back. Okay, so Alex isn't about to go ask for a massive loan right out of the gate. He wants to test the waters first. So he dips into his personal savings and uses a business credit card to get some essentials and start building his brand online. And that credit card he's using? That's the perfect example of unsecured credit. As you can see here, with unsecured credit, there's no specific asset, no collateral backing it up. That means the risk for the lender is way, way higher. If Alex can't pay his bill, the bank can't just come and take his espresso machine. And that higher risk, that is exactly why interest rates on things like credit cards are almost always higher. Okay, the online store is a hit. Alex is ready to go big. He's found the perfect spot for his cafe. But for the really expensive stuff, we're talking a state-of-the-art commercial espresso machine and a full shop fit-out. He's going to need a proper business loan. And this time, you better believe the bank is demanding security. Okay, now this is where things get really interesting and a little weird, legally speaking. When you take out a traditional mortgage on an asset, you are technically signing over legal ownership to the lender. Now, Alex still gets to keep his espresso machine and use it every day, but on paper, the bank owns it until that last penny is paid off. It's a super strong form of security for them. But a charge, that works a little differently. With a charge, Alex keeps full ownership of his stuff. Instead of handing over the title, a charge acts more like a legal sticky note, or an encumbrance slapped onto the asset. It basically tells the entire world, just so you know, this machine belongs to the bank if I don't pay my debt. And this chart just nails the difference, right? In both cases, possession stays with the borrower. Alex gets to keep and use his equipment. But the absolute key difference is ownership. A mortgage actually conveys the title to the lender, while a charge just puts an encumbrance on the borrower's title. So what kind of stuff can Alex actually put on the table? Well, the law is pretty specific about this. He could use real property, land and buildings if you own the cafe space, or he can use personal property. And that's split into two cool categories. Tangible things you can physically touch, the law calls these choses in possession, like the espresso machine, and then intangible things, or choses in action, which could be something like the legal right to collect payment on a huge catering invoice.
All right, so the bank has another move it can make. It can secure the loan against one of Alex's things, like an asset, or it can secure it with a promise from someone else. And this leads us to the big difference between real security and personal security. So let's break this down. You've got real security, which is tied to a thing, an actual asset, like the charge over that espresso machine. If Alex defaults, the bank goes after the machine. Then you have personal security, which is all about a promise. The classic example is a guarantee. Let's say a family member guarantees Alex's loan. If Alex can't pay, the bank can then sue the guarantor for the cash. Okay, but hang on a second. This brings up a really good question. A fixed charge on a big machine, that makes sense. But what about Alex's inventory? His stock of coffee beans, milk, pastries, that stuff is turning over every single day. He has to be able to sell it. So how on earth can a bank take security over something that's constantly in flux? This is where we get to one of the smartest tools in finance, the floating charge. Here's how it works. First, the charge just floats above a whole class of assets, like all of Alex's inventory. Second, as long as business is good, Alex can trade. He can sell his coffee, buy more milk, no problem. He doesn't need to call the bank. But third, if something bad happens, like Alex defaults, the charge instantly crystallizes. It slams down and becomes a fixed charge on whatever inventory is sitting there at that exact moment. Pretty clever, huh?
Okay, so the deal is signed. Alex gets his money, the bank has its security agreement for the cafe's equipment. We're done, right? Not quite. For the bank, there is one more absolutely crucial step to make sure their claim is rock solid, not just against Alex, but against everyone else. You see, a private handshake deal between Alex and the bank is nice, but what happens if Alex, maybe not thinking, goes to another bank and tries to use that same espresso machine to get another loan? Who gets paid first? To solve this whole problem, the law says that First Bank has to perfect its security. Perfection is basically shouting from the rooftops, legally speaking. It's the act of giving public notice to the entire world saying, hey everyone, this asset right here, it's already spoken for if this loan goes bad. And you usually do this by registering the security in a public database. Perfection is what gives that bank priority. It puts them first in line.
And believe me, this is not just some friendly suggestion, it's a hard deadline. For a company like Alex's, you've got 30 days to get that charge registered. Period. If the bank misses that window, that security could be worthless against a liquidator if the business runs into trouble down the line. The stakes are really high.
And this is why all that paperwork matters so much. If Alex can't pay, the lender has a whole playbook. Of course, they can sue him for the money. But much more powerfully, they can just enforce their security, sell off that espresso machine to get paid. If there's a guarantor, they'll go after them. And as a last resort, they can even start proceedings to wind up the business.
But hey, let's bring it back to Alex because, for him, everything goes according to plan. The loan gets approved, the bank perfects its security, and he gets the money he needs. He buys that amazing machine, he hires his team, and Alex's cafe officially opens its doors. His dream is now a reality, and it's all built on this legal framework of credit and security.
When you step back, you realize this whole system of credit and security is literally the engine that fuels our economy. It lets people like Alex take a chance and build something new. But it does make you wonder, does this system strike the perfect balance? Does it do enough to encourage growth while still fairly managing all the risks involved for both the borrowers and the lenders? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us.